What is up, nerd and nerdettes of the interwebs? It's your boy Brady here.
And your other boy, Adam.
And we're bringing you another episode of Best of the Best. We're still doing the MCU tournament. Which movie is the best in the MCU? Last time we argued Captain America Civil War versus Thor the Dark World. And this time up, we're doing Doctor Strange, which will be represented by Adam. And I will be arguing for Avengers Age of Ultron. So, I say let's get started on this.
Alright, as with last time, we will both have a 30-second opening statement, followed by 2 minutes to argue our point, 1 minute rebuttal time, and a 30-second closing statement. Since Brady began his argument last time, I will be starting this time for Doctor Strange.
And your 30 seconds starts now.
Doctor Strange may have seemed very strange to many people in its announcement and throughout watching the whole movie, but yet it was truly the last true solo MCU film, yet it still contributed many things to the whole storyline of the MCU, developing the universe, and had great plot points, and it's a great movie.
That was good. That was exactly 30 seconds. Good job there, Adam. Alright. I actually have a written statement, because I have no life. So.
Alright. And your 30 seconds begins now.
Right. Avengers Age of Ultron is another awesome superhero team-up brought to you by the king of the nerds, Joss Whedon. The movie is superior to Doctor Strange in many ways. No, just because I'm messing up my words. Right. The movie is superior to Doctor Strange as a movie in the MCU because it has an overall tie-in to the entire universe, that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it also has a better villain and better characters. I messed up my words there in the middle. It wouldn't be a debate unless I stumble on my words trying to read something really fast. And your 2 minutes begins now.
Alright, Doctor Strange, played by the amazing Benedict Cumberbatch, who many of you know as Sherlock, the greatest Sherlock TV show, next to the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes MCU tie there. And it delved into, this late into the MCU, it could be said that it could be difficult to develop a new feel for the superhero movies, but Doctor Strange did a very good job, and it still felt like a Marvel movie. It was a Marvel movie, but it delved into a different area that hadn't been delved into before. Again, it was a truly solo film, aside from the fact of having a post-credit scene with Thor, but it still contributed much to the whole universe by setting up future villains for the whole Avengers team, and it had one of the Infinity Stones. I had another point. I'm not sure where I'm going with this now. It was very humorous throughout the movie, and dang it, I had a really good point that I had thought of before I did this. Dang it! It had Wong. That's enough said. Just drop the mic right now. Wong made the whole movie.
Please don't drop the mic. It's kind of expensive.
This is really bugging me that I can't think of. Man, okay. Well, yeah. All right. This didn't go as well as I thought it would. Yep.
Your 2 minutes are up there, Adam.
Yeah.
And I thought I was messing up there in the opening statement. Whew. This is why it pays to have stuff already written.
Yep.
All right.
Your 2 minutes begins now.
All right. What makes MCU a better movie than Doctor Strange? It has a good villain, first of all, which Doctor Strange is not. Caecilius, whatever his name is. I had to look that up because I wasn't sure. I googled it. Actually, I IMDb'd it. Just another boring villain that doesn't really get much screen time. Mordo seems like he'd be a more interesting villain, but they really didn't go for him. They just kind of set up him to be the villain for the next movie, so they really didn't have a good villain that way. My movie had a good villain, villain that gets good screen time. That's acted very well by James Spader, and has an interesting backstory with Tony creating him and then him turning on his creator. The Age of Ultron is able to introduce two new characters that you actually care about. The two being Vision and Scarlet Witch. You don't really care about Hawkeye, but as Meatloaf once said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It takes Hawkeye, and you actually care about Hawkeye, which was the least important Avenger in the prior to Age of Ultron. And now he has a wife and kids, and you actually care about him a lot more. And they do something interesting with the Hulk and Black Widow by putting them together. Nobody was expecting that. It's one of the most important movies in the MCU because a lot of people say Civil War is one of the best movies in the MCU. Well, there wouldn't have been a Civil War without the events that happened in this movie, because there would have been no Sokovia incident, there would have been no Gil-ridden Tony to side with the government. It also introduces an Infinity Stone, and Thanos also gets the Infinity Gauntlet in the post-credit scene. And Doctor Strange has a very distracting character throughout the whole movie, where you have a white European playing an Asian. That's my final point that I really want to get in there.
All right.
Whitewashing. 21. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, 20 minutes. Okay.
21 minutes.
All right.
All right, now it's time for the 1 minute rebuttal. And your 1 minute starts right now.
All right. As far as the bad villains, he still had a good villain played by a very good actor who has done roles in played good villains in James Bond, and you think a villain but then actually a hero in Rogue One, Star Wars. In Age of Ultron, they introduced 3 new characters, and this far in the MCU, you'd think that they would have a death among the heroes, and they do, and yet they kill off one of the characters again that no one cares about. That has no impact. No heartstrings were pulled during that scene. They kill the only character in the Avengers, aside from the Hulk, who could theoretically survive being strafed by a Quinjet, as X-Men proved, and they just made Quicksilver a weak character, and it just wasn't a very good plot point. And your 1 minute rebuttal time starts now.
You say that the movie is hurt by the fact that only one minor character dies, or one character that we really don't care about. I think that gives strength to the movie, that you care about these characters, and there's this emotional cloud, I guess, over the entire movie, and they really, and the whole MCU as a whole, really, and they only killed off like one character that you kind of cared about in the whole thing. I think that gives strength to it as a whole. And one of the points you said earlier was that Doctor Strange was very original. And some sense of it is original, but I think the character of Doctor Strange is very unoriginal. I think it takes a lot from Tony Stark as this selfish, egotistical person who has a lot of money, who ends up having a character arc where he ends up becoming a better person through techniques, I guess, through whatever happens to them. I think it's very...
And that concludes your time. Now we will each have a 30-second closing statement.
All right. The light's not on.
Yeah, this is unplugged.
All right. Your 30 seconds begins right now.
Regardless of what you say about Doctor Strange, it remains to be a better movie than Age of Ultron. Has better acting, very original, contributes very much to the whole MCU, and is a lot more comical, I would definitely say. And just overall, it's just a better movie. Thank you. And now your 30-second closing statement will begin now.
I think Avengers: Age of Ultron is a better movie than Doctor Strange because it's able to introduce two new characters and you actually care about them very much. It's able to take characters from previous movies that you really didn't care too much for and actually make you care about them and want them to succeed and have a good life. It has a much better villain than the other one, and it plays a bigger role in the whole MCU.
All right, and that concludes both of our arguments for our respective movies. Let us know in the comments who you think won, and what your opinion of which movie is better. And we'll also be having a poll on Facebook for a short time. Be sure to go over there and vote on that. Do you want to have any other talking about the movie, or just leave it at that?
No, we'll leave it at that.
Alright. Well, thanks for watching this video and for liking. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Also, recommend the show to your family and your friends and your enemies. And until next time, this is Adam and
Adios.
Amigos.